Previously on the High Risk Wrestling Podcast. You got Duke Hudson and, Andre Chase. You got the Creed brothers. You got Pretty Deadly. You've got Gallus and Joe Gacy and Deshire. So the NXT men's tag team division is fine. It's the women's tag division that I'm a little skeptical about. You know what I mean? Because if you look at the women on the roster, most of them are just good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody. It is Sunday, not Saturday, April 16th, and you know what that means. It is time for the High Risk Wrestling Podcast. I am your host with the problem being solved, Jeremy Pierce. Welcome, one and all. Yes, it's Sunday, not Saturday. I was very much under the weather yesterday, had terrible headaches and migraines and didn't leave the bed, and it was I was down bad, okay? And at least I got to watch some really good basketball games, exception of like the Hawks Celtics game. God, I really wanted the Heat to play the Celtics. But as always, you can check me out on Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations 52 on Instagram, the 215 on Twitter, and of course now Charismatic Creations 52 on Patreon. Yes, but today's show we are looking at the art of failure. That is failing to make new stars. This is part 2 in this series, but for now you know it's next, so just go on and hit my music. All right, so let's get into the news, shall we? So, spoiler alert, at this past Saturday's Defy show, Nick Wayne defeated AEW star Swerve Strickland for the Defy title in Seattle, Washington, which puts their series at 1-1, and Swerve has put out another challenge to Nick Wayne that on the July 12th episode of Dynamite, which is when Nick Wayne turns 18, he will face Swerve. And listen, Nick Wayne is one of those what we like to call wrestling prodigies. He actually already has a contract to AEW. He just needs to be 18, just like Billy Starks had to be 18. Yeah, this is going to slap. I cannot wait. Hopefully Swerve gets the W. Battle of the Belts 6 ratings did a little bit better than the previous one. They poured in 415,000 with a, they poured in 415,000 viewers. That's up from the 409,000. The thing with Battle of the Belts is the champions never lose. Like, the champions never ever lose. Logan Paul has an official WWE contract. It is a multi-year deal, and he will be around a lot more. Plus, I don't like the guy. I think he's trash. I think he's a garbage human being, but I cannot deny that he is really good at this professional wrestling thing. Well, the jig is up. Brian Cage has signed a new multi-year deal with AEW. We thought he'd be going away, but seeing as how he and the Embassy retained the Ring of Honor 6-man tag team championships at Final Battle, Supercard of Honor, looks like he's going to resign. And it looks like he did resign. AEW wanted to keep him. I could tell they wanted to keep him, and WWE really kind of wanted Brian Cage. Raw ratings this past week, they pulled in 1.8 million viewers with a 0.59 and an 18-49 demo. That is down from the previous week, which was obviously the Raw after WrestleMania. So it did much better. AEW Fight Forever, this game got announced 2 years ago. It's still not done. When are we getting this game? I would very much like the game. We're seeing videos, we're seeing the roster. We need an official release date for this game, so we're just kind of waiting to see what the holdup will be. Rey Mysterio and Conan have both advised LEO Del Vikingo to tone it down a little bit, tone down his style. Don't don't stop doing what you're doing, but you can have a long career in this industry, man. Just you don't have to do all of these same spots over and over and over again. The news that we pretty much knew was coming at some point. CM Punk at some point will be making his way back to AEW. Deadspin wrote a really good article about how he's gaslighting everybody. He is, like, I'm a Punk fan, but he's in the wrong here. He always thinks that he's the one being wronged and that he takes no responsibility for his actions. He did this to himself, and now we need to see what the fallout is with him, with Hangman Page in that promo he cut on him, the Elites. And we're hearing reports that, he wants to work with Elite again. He wants to work with Hangman Page, but they don't want anything to do with him. Moxley doesn't want anything to do with him. Chris Jericho doesn't want anything to do with him. So we shall see what happens with CM Punk. Dynamite this past week, the ratings, they've pulled in 866,000 viewers with a 0.28 in the 18 to 49 demo. That's slightly down from last week, but it's still very, very, very good. Eddie Kingston will be having surgery for a hernia, which is why we haven't seen him as much, as pretty much why he lost at Supercard of Honor, but he will be back. Ray Phoenix, current one half of the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions, he is out. He's just kind of banged up. They're playing this close to the vest about his injury, but it doesn't look like it's something major. I mean, he did defend the Tag Team Championship at Battle of the Belts. We have an official date for the WWE Draft. They will take place. Day 1 will be April 28th on SmackDown. We'll finish up on May 1st on that episode of Raw. We shall see how the rosters shape up. I'm hoping they don't do what they did last year when they just like moved people from one brand to the other to continue feuds instead of splitting things up. I can expect the Street Profits to be split up. I can expect maybe even the New Day to be split up one more time. The question is, will the Bloodline be moved to the Raw? So the Bloodline need factions, and right now SmackDown has the Bloodline. They've got the Brawling Brutes. They've got the New Day. They've got Imperium. So we'll see. There are plenty of groups, but I'm excited to see what this draft is going to do to the roster. And apparently Triple H is still in charge of creative. Apparently Mr. McMahon, according to Nick Khan, didn't ask to be brought back in to be put in charge, but Endeavor, who now owns the WWE. But apparently Triple H is still running creative. And I think we can kind of get a sense of that with the last 2 episodes of SmackDown and even Monday Night's Raw that we had. So we'll see. We'll see. SmackDown brought in 2.13 million viewers with a 0.53 in the 18 to 49 demo. That is down slightly from the previous week, but it's still really, really good numbers. They're doing, they're doing better than Raw at this point. And Johnny Gargano is out of action with an injury. Looks like he got hurt at Stand and Deliver. We'll see. Doesn't sound like it's anything major, but I would love Johnny Gargano to be back soon. Actually, I would like All of the Way to be back. I would like DIY to be back together. Again, I'm still shocked that, Indy Hartwell is the NXT Women's Champion. But that's the news, and we shall be right back. Now, I won't be before you very long with our week in review, so let us just dive right into it. Well, Monday Night Raw, we start off with the Judgment Day coming to start the show off, and they've done really, really well for themselves, coming out of this feud with Edge, looking good, now feuding with the LWO, Rey Mysterio. I'm digging it. They just, listen, they're bragging, they're here, they're going to do what they do. Finn defeats Rey with an assist from Dom, so this feud is clearly not done because we're obviously going to get Damian and Dom versus Bad Bunny and Rey Mysterio, at Backlash. Lita was attacked backstage, so Trish will defend the tag team titles with Becky. They then lose the titles to Raquel and Liv Morgan, and Trish turns on Becky. We knew this was coming. I just think it would come this early. I thought at the very least they would get a few more title defenses in, but here we go. And here's the thing. We know we're not getting this match until either Money in the Bank or SummerSlam. So hopefully they don't hold us off until SummerSlam. Io and Dakota have a problem with Bayley getting a number 1 contender spot, so Bayley gives it to Io. Bobby Lashley and Bronson Reed had a, Big E said, big mighty men's, big manly men slapping man meat. Yeah, that ends in a double count out. Let them fight. I want more from this. Cody Rhodes wants Brock Lesnar at Backlash. The Usos defeated the Alpha Academy in just a barn burner of a match. Io defeats Piper Niven and Michin, becoming the number 1 contender for the Raw Women's Championship. Bayley looks slightly amused, maybe even annoyed, but we know this is the end for Damage Control. I'm happy that Io Sky got the shot. She probably won't defeat Bianca, but I very much would like Io Sky to become the Io Sky of ON in the main event. Solo Sikoa defeated Kevin Owens. And then Sammy and KO arrived to save the day. So this Raw, everybody was hampered by travel issues, so that's why we got long matches, and really didn't hurt the show. It's kind of crazy that WWE always does better when their backs are against the wall. So this show gets a fist. Over on Dynamite, had another solid show. Darby defeats Swerve. This match didn't need to happen. And if you're going to have this match happen, have it in a double count out, have it in the DQ, but Swerve didn't need to lose here, and he's now 0-2 against Darby. This match just didn't need to happen, and it was the opening show thing where the other the pillars get an opening match on Dynamite. They win their match, and then they have words with MJF, because MJF came out, and him and Darby had words, and they hashed out their history, and so on and so forth, and then Darby gets some backup from Sting. So, this was same old. I just wish this wasn't Swerve in this position. Will Hobbs, Powerhouse Hobbs, defended the TNT Championship against Silas Young, squashed him. Jay White and Juice Robinson are now the Bullet Club Gopes. And then we got the Bullet Club in AEW. We got the Bullet Club, a little bit of Bullet Club in WWE, with the Good Brothers and AJ and Michin. And we got the Bullet Club in New Japan. Bullet Club's everywhere. Orange Cassidy retained the International Championship against Buddy Matthews. Jeff Hardy returns to save Matt Hardy, Isaiah Cassidy, and Hook from the Firm. Yes, Jeff Hardy is back. The BCC defeated Michael Nakazawa and Brandon Cutler. This wasn't like a straight up squash. It showed that Nakazawa and Cutler have heart. The Elite returned to get a little bit of modicum of revenge. So this feud is far from over. Ruby, Soho, and Toni Storm defeated Sky Blue and Riho. The Outcasts hit a triple powerbomb on Riho, and Jamie and Britt Baker run in to make the save and run off the Outcasts in the main event. Chris Jericho defeated Keith Lee after some interference from Swerve. Adam Cole, him and Keith Lee got some history, helps Keith Lee to the back, and Cole does the same thing where he doesn't acknowledge Chris Jericho. So this was a fine show. I would have won with a couple different, just some slightly different results, but this was a good show. Over on Impact, we had our Rebellion Go Home show. This show gets a fist, and listen, Impact might be the best show you guys are not watching. The opening contest, Kenny King defeated Kaz with some help from Brian Myers and Moose, who are now a part of Team Bully Ray in the Hardcore War. Kushida defeated Steve Maclin Brawl. Laredo Kid defeated Black Taurus, Lince Dorado, and Rich Swann in the X Division Showcase. Jessica Havoc wanted to know why she couldn't follow Taya, and Rosemary said she couldn't enter the Undead Realm. So Taya can't enter. Taya's there, but Jessica can't enter the Undead Realm. Neither can Rosemary. Taylor Wilde defeated Jessica. Alicia Edwards and Eddie Edwards promo, saying she's backing up her husband, so this war between Eddie and PCO isn't finished. Dirty Dango and Joe Hendry defeated the Design, and there's some tension going on with the Design. Tasha Steelz defeated Gisele Shaw in the main event segment. Mickie James relinquishes the Knockouts Championship. Her injury was a little bit worse than we thought. But the card for Rebellion, which is tonight, we have a tag team match with Heath and Rhino taking on Champagne singing Mahabali Shara. We have a last rites match between Eddie Edwards and PCO. Six man tag match with the Design. Taking on Impact Digital Media Champion Joe Hendry, Dirty Dingo, and Santino Marella. The Impact Knockouts Tag Team Championship, the Coven, will be defending against the Death Dolls. The X Division Championship will be on the line as Trey Miguel will be defending against both Speedball Mike Bailey and Jonathan Gresham. Look for that to be maybe your match of the night. We have our 10-man hardcore war with the team of Bully Ray, Kenny King, Moose, Brian Myers, and Masha Slamovich taking on the team of Tommy Dreamer, Budapur Gujar, Killer Kelly, Yuya Yamura, and Frankie Kazarian. We have the Impact Tag Team Champions being defended in an Ultimate X match as Ace Austin and Chris Bay, the Bullet Club, so it's Bullet Club at Impact Wrestling, will be defending against the Motor City Machine Guns. Jordynne Grace will be taking on Deonna Purrazzo for the Vacant Knockouts Championship. In the main event, Kushida will be taking on Steve Maclin for the Vacant Impact World Championship. It's going to be a good show, man. It's going to be a good show. Over on Ring of Honor, Mark Briscoe's defeated Ari Daivari. This is a good way to get Mark Briscoe back on track. And the Varsity Athletes attacks Mark Briscoe until FTR make the save. And the story here is that Mark Briscoe, friend of tag teams. Eddie Kingston will be taking some time off, like we said, for his hernia surgery, and he wants to give his heart back to wrestling. Expect him to win the World Championship when he comes back. Sky Blue gets a win. Mike Bennett versus Darius Martin ends in a DQ after Matt Taven attacks. Action Andretti made the save for Darius Martin, seeing as how his brother Dante Martin's out with the injury right now. Weirdly, you taps out Tracy Williams, Shibata, and Alice Coughlin defeated the Workhorsemen. And let's just say it is great to really have Shibata back in wrestling. Man, he went from having a life-threatening injury to just wrestling kind of on the regular, which is great. Willow Nightingale won a squash match. Stu Grayson defeated Tony Nese. And in the main event, Athena defeated Ashley D'Ambos. And the main event, Claudio Castagnoli retained the Ring of Honor World Championship against Meta Leak. Over on SmackDown, we build towards Backlash. Sami Zayn and KO start the show off with the Usos, and the Usos talk, and then they brawl, and Riddle makes the save, stopping, the Usos and Solo from beating up KO and Sami. Xavier Woods defeats LA Knight, and he goes Gunther backstage into a title match. I need LA Knight to start winning matches. I'm looking forward, hopefully, to a feud at some point between LA Knight and Shinsuke. I would really, really like that. Matt Riddle tells KO and Sami that he's got this, bro. The Judgment Day talk about Bad Bunny and Ray, and they're looking forward to beating them up again. And Damian Priest defeats Santo Escobar. So this isn't over. I'm waiting for a big 6-man, 8-man tag with the LWO versus the Judgment Day and for Rhea to defend the championship versus Zelina Vega. That's a good first opponent for her. Solo tells Paul Heyman that he's got this. Liv and Raquel fight with Chelsea and Sonya. And Chelsea say make a point like, why did they get a number one contenders match and they lost at WrestleMania? Where's Ronda? Where's Shayna? Shinsuke Nakamura returns and defeats Madcap Moss, who then tries to attack and fails to attack Shinsuke after the match. And Karrion Kross is putting a hit out on Shinsuke. Nobody cares because it's Karrion Kross. The Viking Raiders attack Braun and Ricochet backstage. In the main event, Solo Sikoa defeats Matt Riddle. So Solo's 2 for 2 this week. They gotta hold off on these solo matches, man. He done fought Sami. He's done fought KO twice. He's fought Riddle. Like, relax, yo. Solo's gonna be a big star. Over on Rampage, the Aussie Open retained the IWGP Tag Team Championship against the Best Friends. FTR announces that after their 4-year contract is up, they will retire. Jeff Hardy is happy to be back with the Hardys. Him and his brother and the Hardys and Jeff Hardy and the Hook and Isaiah Cassidy will be taking on the Firm. That match will take place at the Hardy compound. We don't have a date for that just yet. Jay Lethal, Jeff Jarrett, Satnam Singh, and Mark Briscoe defeated the Spanish Announce Project and Man Scout. Taya Valkyrie defeats Emi Sakura. Emi Sakura is just a really good hand, man. Just a really, really good wrestler. Taya and Jay get into it, and Taya gets jaded, so we're finally heating this joint up. I don't know if we can hold off on this until Double or Nothing, because Double or Nothing's still like 5-6 weeks away. The Acclaimed and Daddy Ass fight 2.0 and Jake Hager, so this match isn't over, but we'll get this 6-man tag match on Dynamite. And in the main event, Jungle Boy defeated a returning Shawn Spears, who has gone back to his perfect 10 gimmick. Our matches of the week from Raw: the Usos versus the Alpha Academy, and they're probably going to split up the Alpha Academy, but man, Chad Gable has been on fire for a while now. And I hope they don't split them up. I kind of want more people to be added to the Alpha Academy. From Dynamite, Swerve, Strickland versus Darby, Allin. Also from Dynamite, the International Championship match, Orange Cassidy defending against Buddy Matthews. And I'm trying to figure out where the House of Black are going. They're the champions right now. Who are they going to feud with? So they took the belts from the Elite. They've already defended against the Best Friends, so we've got to build up something for them. And from Impact, Tasha, Steelz versus Gisele. So they got about 20 minutes. Man, this was good. This was a good match. Our star of the week, I have to give it to Solo Sikoa for getting them dubs. 2 of them this week. Solo just putting in that work. But that is our weekend review, and we shall be right back. I'm hoping to do more of this series, but I won't be before you very long today. Just give me 15 good preacher minutes. That's all I ask. But look, we've got the art of failure. And for those of you that don't know, this series is all about the failure of making new stars. And a lot of times will censor on the WWE, because there's a time where Vince McMahon always was looking to make the next big star, and more often than not, he's failed. So I've got 3 people for you today, 2 men and 1 woman. And let me check real quick. Do 2 of these people have something in common? No. But we're going to first start. Actually, we're going to start in All Elite Wrestling. Yep, All Elite Wrestling. So, who am I thinking of? Who am I referring to? Well, if you've been watching AEW, there's one guy who should be on this TV screen right now. He should be wrestling great matches. He should be putting on a good show for you. That would be Anthony Ogogo. Yeah. The failure for Ogogo is massive. It is large. And I will for sure put a lot of that blame on Cody Rhodes and on Tony Khan, because they have failed this man. They have truly failed this man. So let me give you some background on Anthony Ogogo. He is an Olympic middleweight boxer. Took home the bronze medal in the 2012 Olympics as an amateur. And has fought all over the world when it comes to boxing. He's fought in the Olympics, fought in the Commonwealth Games, and he's had some success, right? He then went to transition into professional wrestling. His career ended after 4 years when it comes to boxing, his professional career. So, following his retirement from boxing, he transitioned into professional wrestling. And he made his wrestling debut for the WAW, the World Association of Wrestling. So that's where I don't have any knowledge of him there. I have knowledge of what he's done in AEW. which is not a lot. So he gets to AEW and he's featured in Cody Rhodes's American his Nightmare Family YouTube series, The Road to Double or Nothing, and he was featured there, and he was signed to AEW. That was announced in October of 2019 that Anthony Ogogo was signed to AEW, and he was also AEW's first developmental wrestler. You know what development means. And he was trained by Dustin Rhodes and QT Marshall, two of the best in the business when it comes to training wrestlers and making stars. So right there was already some faith that he was going to be good in the ring, because Dustin and QT don't make bad wrestlers. So you're seeing a go-go, you're seeing him, he's featured on Dark sometimes. He's even doing commentary on Dark. So from his time on Dark, we can hear and we can even see that he's got the gift of gab. That, okay, he's got this character part down. He's got this mic work part down. So now it's time to transition him into the ring. He makes his Dynamite debut March 31st, 2021. He attacked Cody Rhodes, aligning himself with QT Marshall, Nick Comoroto, and Aaron Solo, establishing himself as a heel. They were the Factory. These were three men, excluding QT, so Nick, Aaron, and Cody, three men who were trained under QT Marshall. Cool. And he feuded with Cody, and this was good. Okay, he's got a nice little major feud, and Cody Rhodes is one of those guys in wrestling who can lose matches and it won't hurt him. So what happens? They feud. They have a weigh-in, which I get, you know what I mean? And Cody transitioned this feud into America versus Great Britain. And it didn't need to happen. It could have just been, Cody holding back a new star. Maybe, scared to lose his spot and the spotlight. So, we have this feud, and they face each other at Double or Nothing 2021. Now, this was during the COVID pandemic, I believe. Yeah. So they have their match, and the match goes 10 minutes, and it wasn't a bad match, to say the least. No. But Gogo lost. He never got that win back. He would have one more match, and then he was out for 6 months with an injured eye. He returned to the ring on Dark Elevation and 8-man tag and won. And that's, I think, the last we've seen of an Anthony Ogogo. If we go over to Cage Match, which I love Cage Match. If we go to a Cage Match and we look up his current record, career matches. So his last match was November 27th, 2022 in Progress. His last AEW match was the said Dark Elevation match. He hasn't been featured on AEW TV since then, and he's had matches in between and even teaming up with some of his Factory people. So it's like he's wrestling. Why hasn't he been featured on TV? Because we've seen this guy. We've seen that, he's got the look. He looks good. He's got the metal on the mic. He's got a solid finisher, the punch to the gut, like just. And a lot of people were saying, why would that be his finisher? It's just a punch. You get punched in the gut by a trained boxer, you're going to go down to. So where did it go wrong with Anthony? I put none of the blame on him. I put it on Tony Khan and Cody Rhodes for failing this man. He should be the international champion right now. He should be possibly even a 6-man tag team champion with the Factory. I would love to see the Factory start to be taken seriously a lot more. You know what I mean? But they failed with Anthony Ogogo. Can he be reestablished? Yes. Can he be brought back to made to look dominant? Yes. It's on them. Because I have faith from what I've seen from Anthony Ogogo, he can be a star. You just got to believe in him. You just got to give him that push. And yes, I know the AEW roster is quite big at this point. But you can for sure fit him somewhere. You can fit him in Ring of Honor. Oh my God, he can make such an impact. No pun intended on impact. And Ring of Honor. But failure to make a star, Anthony Ogogo. Now this one won't be this one won't be long. Do you guys remember Mason Ryan? We used to call him Baby Batista. Yeah, Baby Batista. Yeah, that guy. You saw him and he looked, oh my God, he looked just like Batista. So, Mason Ryan was another one of Vince McMahon's projects where, Vince McMahon likes big dudes. He likes the look. He likes the muscles, and he thinks that's what a star, is supposed to look like. When he's just wrong. He's just wrong. So Mason Ryan, who has recently, his last match was in 2015 because he is now retired. They tried. So let's just move on forward past his time in the Indies in his early career. When he was signed with the WWE, he started out in Florida Championship Wrestling for 2 years. We know FCW, the legendary developmental brand that it is, and he was in there with a few names like Johnny Curtis, who you now know as the Dirty Dango, Tyler Rex, Johnny Prime, Lucky Cannon, and Hunico. And he was there and he looked okay, and he was solid. Took on Bo Rotunda, aka Bo Dallas, and Richie Steamboat. But it was when he started touring with the SmackDown brand and getting his call up. So he made his debut in 2011 as part of Raw, interfering in a match between John Cena and CM Punk, right? And at this point, CM Punk was the new leader of the Nexus, and they were the new Nexus. Punk gave him an armband, and there you go. So he was there. He's part of the new Nexus with, let me see, that time in the Mason Ryan group of the new Nexus, it was David Otunga, Michael McGillicuddy, Husky Harris, CM Punk, and Mason Ryan. Husky Harris didn't last long. So, and the new Nexus did not last long. And we saw what Vince wanted. We saw what they wanted from this guy. He was going to be presented as a big deal, and he was in big matches, taking on Orton, taking on Cena, taking on Big Show and Kane for the tag team championships. Something just never clicked. He got injured at a house show, was out, came back, then was a face, and it was weird. And there was never any clear direction. So then they put him down into NXT for 2 years. And who remembers that stint? After his 2 years in NXT, he was just gone. He got released. Mason Ryan never clicked. I don't know whether to blame him. I don't know whether to blame Vince McMahon. I'm more so going to blame Vince McMahon just because we know the kind of men that Vince likes. And it just never worked. It just never worked. So yeah. We move on to our final person who has recently been released late last year. That would be one Mandy Rose. And listen, I'm a Mandy Rose hater. I'm not a huge hater like how I hate Britt Baker, but Lord, I'm not the fondest of Mandy Rose. I respect her passion and desire for this business and getting better and trying to become something more than what she was originally presented as. So let's just dive in. So like, did they fail to make Mandy Rose into a star? Well, for the basis of the story, I'm saying yes. So Mandy Rose got her start on Tough Enough. She was literally saved. The Miz saved her because she was hot. Yeah. She was on Total Divas. She was on Total Divas before she was featured on TV. Yeah. And listen, I get what they saw in her. Beautiful woman, bodybuilder. But you all know me. I go for the in-ring ability first above anything. And yeah, she progressed. She's gotten better. And her time, a lot of her time on the main roster was part of a tag team with Sonya Deville, Fire and Desire. And I like Sonya Deville. And they got some wins here and there in their features. And I very much enjoyed their feud going into SummerSlam. In a loser leaves WWE match. I was pulled for Sonya Deville because Sonya Deville was featured and finally got time to shine in this match. And everything she was saying was the truth. Everything she was saying was on point. So Mandy really got her quote-unquote time to shine when she was moved to NXT. But even before that, when I really started to catch on with Mandy Rose was when she was in a tag team with Dana Brooke. I was like, okay, here's two women that aren't featured a lot. They can become a really good tag team, and then they were just split up. By the way, where the hell has Dana Brooke been? Is she even still under contract? So Mandy Rose was moved to NXT, where she formed the faction Toxic Attraction with JC Jane and Gigi Dolan. And okay, I'm fine with this look. I'm fine with this gimmick. But where it really jumped the shark was when she became the NXT Women's Champion and was subsequently defeating everybody. She won a War Games match. She teamed with Toxic Attraction and Dakota Kai and defeated Cora Jade, whatever. But Io Shirai, Kaylee Ray, and Raquel Gonzalez, whatever. It was defeating Kaylee Ray and Io Shirai. Not only that, while her championship reign was going on, she ended up becoming the longest reigning champion. And over that stint, they had Mandy Rose defeat so many women that were just better than her in the ring. She defeated Roxanne Perez. She defeated Io Shirai. She defeated Kaylee Ray multiple times. She defeated Wendy Chu, Zoe Stark. She defeated Blair Davenport. She defeated the final boss, Meiko Sotomayor. One of these things are not like the other. So I get wanting to make her dominant, but not at the expense of women that will be in this business longer than her, with women that will be able to go to other companies and put on great match. I can never get down with that. And we know what happened after that. Mandy Rose's release, she was putting out premium content. Lost the championship to Roxanne Perez. So, did they fail making a star? Some would say no, because it was a big deal. And yes, her reign was just toxic, to say the least. But she never really improved in the ring. With her title reign lasted over 400 days, falling only behind, I believe, Shayna and Asuka. And when you look at the lineage of the NXT Women's Championship, one of these things are not like the other. I wish Mandy Rose the best. I hope that if she truly cares about professional wrestling, looks like she really doesn't, because she's going to keep making the premium content. And I understand the rules that you get pushed as a sex symbol, but you can't make money off of it, because their dudes all screwed up and around. We know that. But does she really care about professional wrestling? Does she really want to come back? That is a story for a different day. So did they fail in making Mandy Rose a star? I'm going to say yes, because the one thing you have to do is you have to make champions vulnerable. She can, if you're going to have a reign as long as Asuka, as long as Shayna and Roman Reigns, it has to be believable, and that's where they failed her. It was never believable that she was just better than Mako and Io and Asuka and Shayna, women that, like, it just doesn't make any sense. So yes, to me, they failed at making her a star. They failed tremendously, and it sucks for her. It don't suck for us, because the championship is no longer on her waist, which I am very much happy with. But that is our show today, ladies and germs. Thank you all for watching, listening. Next week's show, betting on yourself. That's gonna be fun to talk about. Yes, we will be talking about the one and only Mercedes Moné. But as always, check me out on the socials. Charismatic Creations on Facebook and Tumblr. Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram. The 215 on Twitter. And yes, the Patreon is live. Charismatic Creations on the Patreon. And as always, Zia Lee, Wendy Chu, Isla Dawn, Chauncey Blackheart, Bailey, and Gigi Dolan. Holla at your boy. Peace.